on Friday. It was reported by the Associated Press that Glenn Youngkin stated his public opposition to marriage equality. We issued a statement on Friday in response to that, but we're holding today's press conference in part to give you all a chance to hear from Virginia voices and listen to their perspectives in reaction to Glenn Youngkin and what his statement would mean if he were elected in Virginia. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Mary Townley and Carol Shaw, LGBTQ plus Virginia voters and plaintiffs in the historic case for marriage equality in Virginia. I will kick it first to Mary Townley. Mary.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for inviting us and joining us together. My name is Mary Townley. My wife, Carol Shaw, is here with us as well. And Carol and I have a long, lovely life together. We've been together for 36 years. We taught together. That's how we first met, in a private school for students with severe disabilities. We worked well as a team, and then we fell in love and we began our life together. And you know, what's so wonderful about our relationship is that it really was a falling in love with each other. And I wasn't looking for anybody, but Carol happened in my life. And I've been blessed from that day that we first met, that we both remember, when I walked into the classroom fresh out of college to teach. And as years went on, you know, we talked about what do we want to do. And as teachers and planners, we talked about our future and what were our dreams. And we decided, you know, we wanted to own a house together. This was back in the 80s when, you know, it wasn't so easy to just, oh, we'll go get a mortgage together. No, you know, everything was done as me and her being friends. And that's, you know, that's not a very stable way to have a mortgage necessarily. We were both bread earners, but I couldn't necessarily, you know, I couldn't join it as a, you know, as her legal component on the mortgage and things like that. Anyway, we also talked about we wanted to have a family, and you know, how do we do that? Do we adopt? Do we have you know, figure out another way to have a child? Well, as years went on, we found a way to have a child, and I carried our baby. And you know, it's thanks to people in the LGBT community who surrounded us, as well as people who were not, who are, you know, everybody else supported us throughout our pregnancy, throughout our the birth of our child. We live in Chesterfield County, which traditionally was a very red county back in the 90s. But we found a lot of support for our family. Our child went to school in a neighborhood schools, never had a problem. Do you want to add?
I was going to add that I think that that's a really important point. Our daughter, Emily, who's now 23, relies on us as a family. And through most of our lives, we've had to cobble together supports because of the lack of legal recognition. She's now 23. At the point that we gained marriage equality, we had already lived a life where the courts, the public considered us legal strangers. And the thought that we might have a governor who doesn't respect our families, who doesn't understand how important it is for our families to be able to take care of each other. We're together not just for the good times, but for the bad times. And that's what really makes a difference. What worries me about a potential Governor Youngkin is that he wouldn't care about our families, that he would simply tolerate our families. And it really scares me to my bones. It makes my hair stand up on edge to think that I might have a governor that doesn't consider me his constituent, that doesn't consider our family important, that weighs his family as more important than our little family. We pay our taxes, we work hard. We raised a child who's now in graduate school who we're very proud of and who's dependent upon us to be legally recognized as her family. And the fact that we might have a Youngkin administration that would work against that progress really scares me. And I just have to say, our family is built on love for each other and love for our community. When we pay our taxes, we're supporting our community. We're supporting the teachers, the PTA, the firefighters, the first responders, the police officers who work to make our community safe. And so we're speaking today because we believe in community and we believe that everyone has value. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mary and Carol. Next, I'd like to introduce Bob Whittick, LGBTQ Virginia voter and business owner. Bob?
Great, thank you, Wyatt. Mary and Carol have eloquently described the struggle that many families in Virginia have faced. I want to give you the perspective of the Virginia economy as well. My husband and I make our home here. We're native Virginians. And in fact, even though we've been together 27 years, we waited until Virginia enacted marriage equality because we wanted our marriage to be recognized in the Commonwealth where we live, where we vote, where we spend our lives. But above that, for the last 30 years, I've been consulting with major corporations. Many welcome and understand and value Virginia's economic climate. They see it as a place of opportunity and rich diversity of talent. And the thing that has stood out most of all is how this has welcomed companies and jobs to come into Virginia. When we have leaders that have lackluster or hostile views about the role that LGBTQ people play in the economy, it sends a chilling message in terms of recruiting talent, keeping it. I live in Northern Virginia in the footprint now of Amazon. Amazon has been a significant force for good, certainly valuing or supporting the Virginia Values Act this last session, and making it clear that the economy is encouraged or enhanced significantly by policies that recognize all of our families. And by doing that, it's a win-win-win. And if a leader doesn't get it, they are not worthy or qualified to lead this economy into the future.
Thank you so much, Bob. Next, we'll hear from David Hish, another LGBTQ Virginia voter and business owner. David?
Yes, my husband Adam and I have been together for over 21 years. We actually got legally married in Washington, D.C. on our 10-year anniversary. And we came home to our state and our marriage was not recognized. We had no legal protections there. Our suitcase was full of documents that our attorney had drawn up that we had notarized to make sure that wherever we traveled, we would be protected as best as we could under the law, but we were considered, strangers. We then decided to adopt children. I was the legal guardian of our children at the beginning of the adoption process, and my husband had no rights at all. And so we had to be careful about where I was at any given time, and we had to add more paperwork into our travel packages. Finally, he was able to do a second parent adoption. And then when marriage equality, finally became the law of the land, it put additional protections on us. I have several family members that I love and who tell me that they love me and love my family, but who have said, like Youngkin, that they don't support marriage equality and don't support our marriage. And the hurt that we feel to think that how can you say that you support my family if you think that either my kids should not have the protections and the security of married parents, or that you think they should not even exist. They shouldn't even exist as a family. So, the idea that it's not just the law, our leaders set the tone for public discourse. And we have seen how when our leaders express their bigotry, that it emboldens people. So even if if the law says that our relationship is supposed to be recognized, we could end up at a hospital somewhere or in a place where somebody feels emboldened by our governor's prejudice to deny us access, to deny us. And it really is scary to think about.
Thank you, David. And thank you to all of our participants for sharing their stories, Mary, Carol, Bob, and David. Now I'd like to open it up for any questions from members of the media. The way that we've typically done this, if you have a question, please hop into the chat